My Atlanta Falcons had a tough time on Sunday Night Football, but now they get a host the Miami Dolphins, who had an even tougher time against the Cleveland Browns here in Week 7. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan. We're going to break down this game and provide our predictions at the end, so be sure to leave a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win and why. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 8,000 subscribers, and we're about 160 or so away, so any help will be greatly appreciated. Ryan, let's get into it here.
Let's do it.
Tough time for my Atlanta Falcons. We were without Jalen Walker, which would have been a big help, and then Divine Diablo, who's been playing great this year, he got hurt, and so outside of our two probably most athletic guys on the defensive side of the ball, is a big reason why CMC just absolutely torched us throughout the entire night as well. I think he had Mac Jones only had 152 passing yards.
Yeah,
and actually in total they had 324 yards, it looked like, as a team, the San Francisco 49ers, if I'm not mistaken. And I think Christian McCaffrey had like 210 of them. Let me see if I can do this quick.
all-purpose
129 rushing yards, 72 receiving yards. Yeah, he had a pretty good game, I would say, against us there. Not too bad to have him on fantasy. And on the flip side, too, as well, our offense just – I'll talk more about this later on, but just had a big setback from our performance against Buffalo. I'll kind of talk a little bit about my opinions here on Atlanta, but one of the reasons why I'm kind of glad we waited to do this game, because as they were playing Miami, was if Mike McDaniels was going to be on the team, was going to be on the sidelines against Miami. And we're recording this during Monday Night Football here, and as of now, it looks like he still is, which is kind of shocking, just the way that this Miami team looks. Part of it also, too, is not, in my opinion, McDaniels. He has a lot of blame for it. Tua is also awful. Like, he is playing horribly bad. I think with you being a Patriots fan, I think you got to enjoy seeing the Miami Dolphins struggling here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't enjoy watching them struggle, but this definitely, I think this is kind of the end of this era of Miami, where this like super explosive offense. I know Tyreek Hill went down with the injury, obviously, earlier in the year. But I just think Mike McDaniel is going to probably be relegated to an offensive coordinator somewhere next year. I'm very interested. They're locked in with Tua through the end of next season, but then after that, I don't know how much guaranteed money they have.
I'm just looking it up right now
on his contract. And so Jalen Waddle has been a heavily speculated trade target. And so he could either be moved before the deadline or after the season ends for, probably a significant amount of draft capital, and they could really start to rebuild this thing. But you have to think that they would be in the quarterback market here come the draft. And this whole team, I think, is just probably going to be stripped down to the studs and, built back up with a new head coach here for the Dolphins. And that's just going to be the, entering the rebuild phase. Them and the Jets in that division will be, the two rebuilding teams, I think, right now.
Yeah.
So
it feels like never ending for them. But I think that's a good question. Like when it comes to the trades, because so with Tua, if I'm reading this correctly, looks like there's an out after the 2027. So if they were going to move on from him this year or this offseason, be $56 million cap hit. It looks like there's an out. I can't tell if it's a team out or a player out. So let me know in the comments on any of the specific details. But I'm looking at Spot Track here right now. If it's a player out and he doesn't want out, then they got $53 million in 2027 and $65 million cap hit in 2028 before they can officially say like we're done with you, essentially. Then so it could be stuck within the long term. But I think the general question overall is like, I think I agree with you that they're going to be sellers for sure at the trade deadline. And to me, I really kind of look at Jalen
Phillips.
No, not Jaden Phillips. Waddle.
Jalen Waddle.
Sorry. I was going to say Jalen Waddle. I knew that wasn't correct. But Jalen Waddle and Devon Achane are the two guys to me that I think that would stick out, because they've got other guys too that they've drafted, like Ollie Gordon, I think could be good, but you're not going to get anything for him. Teams might actually give you some good draft picks for those two guys. And Darren Waller maybe could have been a guy, but he got hurt. He strained his pec and might be out for some time. So that's something to monitor here. Like, I don't think he's going to be in this Week 8 game. But between those two guys, who do you think is more likely to be traded?
Probably Waddle. A-Chain's still on a rookie contract, and he's one of your best players. I think when I say strip down to the studs, like I think he's one of the studs that you keep. Jalen Phillips is probably going to get moved on from. I think his contract is up, I believe, at the end of this year. He's too much of an injury risk. Bradley Chubb will probably be another name that they move on from as he's getting older and also injury prone as well. And so I think those are two guys you could probably get decent assets for. So I think that's who you move on from. Waddle is probably in a similar scenario, but I think they keep A-Chain, and then they're kind of contractually stuck with Tua for the time being.
So I'll actually push back. I think Waddle's the guy you might want to keep. Now, I guess it depends on if Chris Greer thinks he's still going to be here as well too. But I would much rather have a receiver like Waddle than a running back like A-Chain, because, for example, you can go and draft a guy like Ollie Gordon in the 5th or 6th round, and your running game's not going to be too big a difference. Also, it doesn't matter how good your running game is if your offensive line's not fixed, which is something they need to fix. But if I'm a new head coach, a new GM coming in, I kind of want to be like, no, you need to have somebody, a young quarterback, can go and throw to. And now, that being said, though, if someone offers a second for Waddle, be like, okay, I might have to take
well,
that.
that's probably what you're looking at.
Yeah.
A second or a first for a receiver of his caliber. He has some
Potentially.
injury issues, so maybe a little
But
bit later.
a team like, just example, like for the Chargers, they might give up a third for A-Chain, like with the running back issues that they've been having. You know, if you're Pittsburgh, I know you got Jalen Warren back there, and Kenneth Gainwell, but still, I think Devon A-Chain would be a lot better, and a really good, another check down guy for Aaron Rodgers throw too. And I'm just spitballing names out here as well too. Like, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who the best fits would
Yeah.
be overall, but that's just what I would think though too. So with Miami though, that's I'm a little shocked that Mike McDaniel hasn't been fired, especially too, but like with the Cleveland loss. But let's see if the Atlanta Falcons can do it. My Falcons, great game against the Bills. I thought about this. I know we talked about it a little bit. It was the first time, and it felt like in several years, where I was truly proud of the coaching. I felt like we had a really good game plan. Thought we were creative. And moving the ball down the field. Penix looked good. I thought the defensive game plan was great as well too, like getting after Josh Allen and throwing up some different mixes. And so, as I said, kind of at the start, Diablo going down and not having Jalen Walker, our whole defense, really our whole team, is built on just like crazy athleticism. But I thought we took a major step back in the coaching department in this game as well here too. Penix didn't look good, yes. I thought the defense, the Niners defense, got to give credit to them, did a good job. I think shutting down Bijan Robinson. But in general, I thought we took a step back in our coaching department. I thought our play calling went back to the more vanilla style of play, where like felt like it was uncreative. But and I think in general, our play calling has been uncreative. It's just masked by the overall athleticism by Bijan Robinson, Drake London, and at times when he's comfortable in the pocket, Michael Penix's arm. He has a cannon for an arm. I think he's just skittish. I think that's the biggest issue. And then defensively, we just got out coached against Kyle Shanahan, which probably could have been expected, but I still felt like there were opportunities that I think Raheem Morris and Jeff Ulbrich could have done a better job. I think setting the team up for success. Once again, losing Diablo and not having Jalen Walker is a big indicator on that, because you need speed to match Christian McCaffrey. And no offense to JD Bertrand, but that's not him whatsoever. Shout out though, I will say, to our GM Terry Fontenot as well. I in the moment has made some questionable decisions, but I do think he has drafted really good talent. Our sack leader right now is Zach Harrison, the 3rd round pick from a couple years ago as well. I think when Jalen Walker has been in, I think he's been really good. I think James Pierce Jr. has promise. He's obviously got Bijan and Drake London. At the time were questionable decisions. And now even too as well, I know people are saying like Michael Penix isn't looking good, and I know we gave $100 million to Kirk Cousins. I'm not saying we should go to Kirk Cousins. However, though, it is comforting, like, if Penix still starts to be inconsistent and we're getting into the dog days of like this year, we do still have a veteran quarterback back there, and we are still paying him a lot of money. I'm not saying that's what we're going to do. I'm not saying that's what we should do, but Penix has just been very inconsistent overall. And it's, if we're trying to win games, and because we got a really tough schedule coming up here, this is probably the easiest of our games. I think we play the Jets too. Those are the 2 easiest games that we have left. Every other game after that, I think it's going to be a dogfight. I mean, even when we play the Saints twice, Saints are looking good. I know they're 1.
And the Saints always seem to beat you guys once.
They beat us twice last year. I mean, they kicked the. No, I won't swear, but they kicked the absolute ish out of us in Week 18. That got Arthur Smith fired as soon as he landed in Atlanta. But that's it. That was just my Falcons fans. Let me know what you all think, because I just felt overall generally just unimpressed just with our overall play calling. I think that's been a general theme Like I felt like that Buffalo Bills game was more of an exception, not the rule. I kind of wanted it to be reversed. Obviously, I want to have just good creative play calling, but we're just very star focused and very star heavy. Like if Drake London gets hurt, there goes our passing game. I know you have a couple dump off passes, Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts at 7 catches for 62 yards, but he can't carry the team. Darnell Mooney coming back was good. I know he led the team in receptions. He had a big catch towards the end. But once again, too, as well, when we got the ball at the end of at the end of the first half and we're driving, those felt like the only few times that we actually took deep shots down the field and they were there. Now, Niners might be playing prevent, to be fair, but Penix has the arm. It's just I just don't see us doing that. I feel like we run more horizontally than vertically at times, and
Yeah.
I feel like we get trapped in like hoping the defense is weaker than our offensive athleticism. And when you go up against a Robert solid defense like that, no surprise, like they shut us down, especially in the running department.
Yeah. One thing too that I've noticed with Penix is he really struggles with like the touch passes.
Yeah,
If it's not a rifle, I feel like he can kind of spray things a little bit or be a little bit inaccurate. And when you're in an offense too where they're asking him to try to throw over the middle and try to throw like that intermediate route, one, you guys just don't have the receivers for that right now. Outside of Drake London, like Casey Washington and Darnell Mooney are your next best options. And Darnell Mooney, I think, is a good deep threat where like he could just be running go balls all game.
yeah,
And with Michael Penix's arm, he can definitely threaten every area of the field. But I just feel like consistently running like those 10 to 15 yard crossers with Casey Washington and some of these guys, that's just not Penix's game. And I feel like if he's not checking it down or driving the ball deep outside the numbers or just like an intermediate out route, I
yeah.
feel like he's struggling to, one, see it, and then two, be able to feel the rush. And I think that's one of the things that's throwing him off there as well. As you mentioned, he looks skittish to me
He looks
right now.
skittish, and I really started to notice that against, and of course, it's against that Michigan defense in that national championship game. So, and with Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant, all those studs, Braylon Trice
Yeah.
was on that team as well too. But uh, so the caveat when I said when you get all those guys going up against your Washington offensive line, but looked very panicked in the pocket, and when he's got the time and it felt like he's comfortable, like more comfortable than what a normal NFL quarterback should feel. Um, then he's able to make those throws. But even to when you go see these elite quarterbacks, and he's still learning, but even to you go see Justin Herbert, and he was getting beat up against Indianapolis Colts front seven, and he was able to just go in there. Go look at Mac Jones. Mac Jones made his whole career. Like I know he's a backup now, but he'll sit in the pocket and he'll step into these throws.
Yeah.
Um, when you see the good quarterbacks do that, they stay in the pocket. And I don't know what it is, but Penix seems like he's just backpedaling. He throws off his back foot and just slings it. He's got the arm to still throw
Yeah.
it those 30 yards, but it still just seems panicky. But once again, though, too, so I say all that about Penix. To me, it still comes back to Zach Robinson and the
Yeah.
coaching. And it's like, I don't think they're setting him up for success either, to be fair to Penix.
Yeah.
I hate with a young team, like everybody says Atlanta is, they are a young team. I expect inconsistency on the field. But when you have inconsistent coaching like this on top of it, that's just where I don't see how we're going to be successful long term this year. And we've got a tough schedule coming up. It's a really tough schedule. If we go look at this game, and we're getting into predictions here now, like I think Atlanta's going to win,
Yeah.
only just because we might be playing a more poorly coached team than we are, which is not something we can constantly keep on saying. But so we win this game, we go to 4-3. We're at New England, which is going to be a fun brother game. First time you and I are going to be doing a preview of our two teams. That's going to be a tough one. In Berlin against the Indianapolis Colts, which might be the hottest team. Against Carolina at home. We'll have to see if Bryce Young's playing there, but Panthers dominated us. They got after Michael Penix too, as well. Our defense was able to slow them down, but they were able to really get us off kilter offensively. And at New Orleans, at New York, which I feel comfortable with that game. But then for Seattle, at Tampa Bay, at Arizona, I know Falcons fans are going to look at the Cardinals team, but this is still a really tough defense, and we haven't really played well on the road at all. Then home versus the Rams, and then end the season with the Saints. Like there's only to me like 2 or 3 sure wins on these remaining games, and we need to win about 7 or 8 to have a good shot to make the playoffs. And
Yeah.
it's
Especially
a
how competitive the NFC is.
NFC is very loaded. So I'm still going to go with Atlanta in this one. expect Bijan Robinson to have 300 yards in this game, like all purpose, because they're going to have a really tough time going up against them. Quinshon Judkins had a day against them in Cleveland, in a rainy day too as well. And I think our defense is really going to get after Tua as well too. I think we're going to have a great time going after them because Miami's just a significantly worse team right now, and they
Yeah.
just don't. When you have your head coach being asked in a presser today, like, how do you guys win this game? He's like, well, if we don't throw 10 interceptions, we should do fine. Like that's a clear call out. It's coming from the head coach to
Yeah.
your star quarterback. Like, things are not good in Miami right now. So just in
No.
general, I think our offense is going to be able to exploit this weak defense. I think this Miami offense is not good at all and really struggles to play on the road. And I think our defense can get after it.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I think your defense is going to get after Tua. This offensive line is not good for the Dolphins. And one last quick note here about your Falcons. So they are 2-1 at home. They're 1-2 on the road. But I think you go look at their last two road games, the Panthers and the 49ers. This offense has not performed well on the road.
Well,
I think your guys' offense is totally different at home. You guys are a very good offense at home.
Yeah, and also too, I know everyone's looking at that Minnesota game. Our defense and JJ McCarthy's inexperience won us that game because we were able to get after him and make him really uneasy. And then we got the lead, and then we were able to just run the ball constantly.
Yeah, you guys actually didn't convert in the red zone.
Yeah, no, I think we had 6 field goals that game because we cut Younghoe Koo, and then Parker Romo came in, and everybody's talking about how many field goals he made. And I think if I go back to that game, I think he didn't have a field goal longer than like 45 yards, which for an NFL kicker nowadays should not be an issue whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it's also Atlanta.
Yeah. So. But I think this defense will feast on a just broken down Miami offense. And you guys play with enough speed. I'm not really worried about this running game really taking advantage of you guys in the outside zone. So I like the Falcons. I think this is a really talented roster. My big thing with them, right tackle is an issue, and wide receivers 2 and 3. I think you guys need to find different options, whether in free agency or in the draft coming up.
And cornerback too. So that's the one that goes back to where I was saying, like, and props to our GM, because if Penix can keep on developing, like, he's got the arm. Like, he just needs to keep on developing, I think, kind of processing the game and just being confident in the pocket. We've got the star running back and great running back room. I would love to see if they could keep Algier. I can understand why Algier would want to go elsewhere and get more money and more touches. But we saw the number one running back, probably number one running back in the league, or at least top 3. Drake London's a great receiver as well too. Kyle Pitts is serviceable in this offense. He's not a 4th overall pick, so I'll take that away from our GM from Terry there. But he's serviceable in this offense, at least with Penix throwing the ball.
Yeah.
So we've got those pieces, but then it's our smaller roller players and role players. Now, the benefit I will say though, going back to, like, we have now seen some guys go and develop well. Zach Harrison, for example. Other guys who I really liked, who's probably not going to play with the Falcons anymore, though, just with how our linebacking room is now, and he's been constantly injured. But Troy Anderson, I really like that pick. He's just been hurt his entire career so far, and he doesn't look like he's going to keep on playing. So it does seem like they're able to develop, and some of these guys are developing on the right track when given these opportunities. So it's just going to take more time, like, for all our Falcons fans, and we're just. I was thinking about this. I think the reason why we're so impatient now is just because. Do you know when our last playoff win was? And you know who the quarterback was? Or who the quarterback we beat was?
Was it the Super Bowl year, and you guys won the NFC Championship game against not Russell Wilson. Was it Russell Wilson?
No, we beat Russell Wilson that year. We beat Aaron Rodgers in the NFC Championship game. But our last one, though, we made the playoffs the next year, and we beat the Los Angeles Rams and Jared Goff on the road. That was in 2017. Like, we're coming up on 9 years. Yeah, or 7 years, because that was it was in 2018 technically. It was a 2017 season. So
okay,
yeah, we're coming up on 8 years since we made the playoffs and won a playoff game. So that's where it's like, it's tough to keep on being patient because we have these pieces, but man, it's just frustrating. And that's where I think the coaching is what I'm most frustrated on, because you have a young team, they're gonna have games like this, But then when you're coaching, looks like you just keep on being consistently outcoached. Every now and then you have a good game, like the Bills one. But that's where it's frustrating as a Falcons fan. So is what it
well, you
is.
feel like hopefully you would get the coach right at one point in that time frame.
You would think.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't get paid enough to make those decisions. So
well, and you haven't had to worry about it too, being a Patriots fan.
We had Gerard Mayo for a year, and then
oh my gosh, like don't even compare. Don't even compare. Don't even compare. I had Arthur Smith for 3.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So,
no, that as a Patriots fan, I've been very lucky, and the fact that the Titans fired Mike Vrabel still blows my mind. So,
yeah,
but
you guys hit the jackpot there.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the Miami Dolphins? Will it be the Atlanta Falcons? And other than that, we'll see you guys next time.